This video is intended only to supplement the written installation instructions that accompanied your product, not to replace those installation instructions. The written installation instructions should be read and available to you before you attempt to install the product. If you have any questions about the instructions in this video or are not comfortable performing the installation demonstrated, contact manufacturer's customer service. Before you begin the cooktop installation, refer to the installation manual for a list of recommended tools and parts you may need. For proper cooktop installation, the countertop opening should be 29.5 inches from side to side and 20.5 inches from front to back. There will need to be at least 1 inch of clearance on each side of the cooktop. The electrical supply for the appliance must be 240 volts at 60 Hz. A dedicated 30 amp or 40 amp circuit is recommended. Warning: electrical shock hazard. Disconnect power before servicing. Use 8-gauge copper wire. Electrically ground cooktop. Failure to follow these instructions can result in death, fire, or electrical shock. Be sure to shut off the power to the cooktop junction box before installation. Warning: excessive weight hazard. Use 2 or more people to move and install cooktop. Failure to do so can result in back or other injury. Remove the cooktop from the packaging and set it upside down on a covered surface. Now determine the appropriate length for the protective foam strips by aligning the strips with the front or rear edge of the cooktop. Then trim the strips accordingly. Peel one of the strips from the backing to expose the adhesive, and position the strip on the front bottom edge of the cooktop. Position a second strip on the rear edge. Next, determine the appropriate length for the sides of the cooktop and cut the strips accordingly. Position the 2 strips. If applicable, you can now begin to install the cooktop clamping brackets. Use a 1/4 inch socket or nut driver to unthread the attachment screws from the cooktop base. Select the appropriate bracket mounting hole that will allow each bracket to extend out far enough from the edge of the cooktop to install the clamping screws, and begin threading the attachment screws through the brackets. Rotate the brackets so they don't extend beyond the edge of the cooktop base, and tighten the screws. Position the cooktop in the cutout space of the countertop. Now loosen the 2 adjustment screws and rotate the clamping brackets outward. Then tighten the screws. Next, thread one of the clamping screws through the outermost hole in the bracket. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to tighten the screw against the underside of the countertop. Avoid over-tightening the screw. Repeat for the opposite side to fully secure the cooktop. You're now ready to connect the power supply line. If necessary, remove the junction box cover. Use a UL-listed or CSA-approved 1/2 inch diameter conduit connector to connect the flexible cable conduit from the cooktop to the junction box. If applicable, tighten the screw or screws to secure the conduit. Now join the black wires together and secure them using an approved UL-listed wire nut. Do the same to secure the 2 red wires together and the 2 white wires. If your junction box has a 4-wire power supply line, join the green or bare grounding wire or wires to the bare grounding wire from the cooktop and secure them with a wire nut. If your power supply only has 3 wires, connect the grounding wire or wires along with the white wire from the cooktop to the white neutral wire in the box. With all of the wires positioned inside the junction box, replace and secure the cover. Restore power to the junction box, and the cooktop should be ready for use.